The South African Litigation Centre has urged the International Criminal Court's 33 African member states to investigate reports of grave human rights violations and war crimes in Gaza. Numerous organizations and individuals on the continent have supported the demand, including the Anglican Archbishop of Southern Africa, Thabo Makgoba, South African Jews for a Free Palestine, and renowned South African campaigner Zackie Achmat. The organization is advocating for the equal application of the Rome Statute. We're now joined by Dr. Atilla Kisla, International Justice Cluster Lead at the Southern African Litigation Centre. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Perhaps let's start with an introduction to our viewers of the South African Litigation Centre.
So the Southern Africa Litigation Centre, especially its cluster on international justice, fights against impunity for international crimes. These are crimes of war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and hold those accountable that have perpetrated these crimes. So that's the focus of our international justice cluster, and of course, as an organization, regional organization, to hold up the rule of law and implement international law.
Okay. And what is the current call to some of the countries that are part of the Rome Statute?
So our call in our letter was directed to all 33 African ICC member states. And in our letter, we requested from all African ICC member states that they engage more actively with the ICC proceedings with respect to the Palestine situation. And that includes to provide technical support. There can be more funding to the court, as the court needs more funding to conduct its proceedings. But if the African ICC member states would come together, it could send a very important and powerful political message to the court and in support of the court.
What is the understanding of what has disallowed some countries on the continent from doing exactly that? The International Relations Minister of South Africa, Naledi Pandor, last weekend, in fact, was speaking at a gathering by NUMSA, and she mentioned how she was essentially behind the expelling of the Israeli ambassador, or Israeli observer rather, at the African Union. So she relayed how she walked around the room and she was trying to lobby support to say this cannot happen under our watch, and only 3 of the 54 countries that were represented at that meeting actually supported her. And so what is the understanding of what has disallowed some countries on the continent?
We are aware that many African states that there's like a discrepancy between, especially with respect to the conflict in Palestine and on the position on Israel. However, as we say in our letter, we are not asking the African member states of the ICC to choose a side in the conflict. We are merely asking them to choose the side of the law and choose the side of the innocent civilians. They have became the victims of these horrendous attacks on either side. So we are aware of the discrepancy, but we believe that under a principle of humanity, because that's from which these rules, and especially the rules of the Rome Statute, derive from, the African states can come together.
I beg your pardon. How far will it go? Is Israel a signatory of the Rome Statute?
Israel is not a signatory to the Rome Statute, but the ICC has jurisdiction over the situation in Palestine. The ICC has announced opening an investigation in March 2021, which was also confirmed by the pre-trial chamber of the court. That means the ICC has jurisdiction over the region of Gaza, the Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the West Bank. And that means, even despite the fact that crimes might have been committed by non-member state or to the Rome Statute, to the International Criminal Court, as long as these crimes show a territorial link, meaning that at least one part of the crime has been conducted in a territory where the ICC has jurisdiction, that the court can investigate these crimes.
Given how long the tensions at times leading to conflict have been going on between or in the Middle East, is there appetite on the part of the ICC to actually do something?
I think there is appetite. And the states, as we have seen in the situation of Ukraine, if states come together and show support of a certain investigation, and in that case more than 40 states issued a state referral to the ICC, I think it sends a powerful message, and also it enables the court to conduct more expedited proceedings and also to adopt a higher priority for the situation at hand. So we saw this precedent happening with the Ukraine situation, and we believe the same can happen in the Palestine situation. In the Ukraine situation, we have seen something we had never seen before, where the ICC issued 2 arrest warrants within 13 months since it started its active investigations.
In your letter, you also highlight that in light of the criticism by some African states on the double standards within the ICC system, we therefore urge you to use your voice as a signatory of the Rome Statute to correct imbalances you see as a member state and support the work of the court.
Exactly. So what we are saying in our letter is that we have seen over the years multiple African ICC member states expressing concerns about double standards within the system of the ICC. And what we are saying to them now is that now, as a member state of the Rome Statute, it is your chance to actually correct as much as you can these imbalances that you see and express your concerns about impartiality and independence, and enable the court with your support to conduct these independent and impartial investigations in the Palestine situation, so that we don't end up of the Palestine situation becoming a textbook example of double standards.
Your letter is dated 16 October 2023. What has been the response, if any?
So far, we haven't received any direct response to our letter, but we have seen here in South Africa that the cabinet statement called on the ICC to act. We have seen the chairperson of the ANC, and these are only first steps, and we hope to see more as we are gearing up to the Assembly of State Parties of the International Criminal Court in December this year, so they can express their voices at that occasion.
Okay. Doc, thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
Dr. Atilla Kisla, the International Justice Cluster Lead at the Southern African Litigation Centre.